He left me on the side of the road, rain pouring, gravel digging into my shoes, headlights fading as he sped off. His last words cut sharper than the cold. "You needed a lesson." I didn't chase. I didn't beg. I just stood there, watching his taillights disappear, and whispered to myself, "Yes, but not the way you think." Moments later, a black truck slowed beside me. The window rolled down, my bodyguard stepped out, calm, unshaken, like he'd been waiting for this very moment. I smiled. My husband's cruelty had ended. He just didn't know it yet. I married him because he made me believe I was safe. Charming, attentive, successful. He wore loyalty like a second skin. And for a time, I believed him. I believed the way he touched my hand in public, the way he promised I was his anchor, his home. But that was before his ego grew hungry, before his love turned into control, before the lessons began. At first, they were small, mocking me in front of friends, leaving me stranded at parties, withholding affection to watch me crumble. Each time he'd frame it as, "Discipline, you need to learn your place." And I swallowed the humiliation, telling myself I could endure it, that the man I married was still somewhere inside him. But then came the phone I wasn't supposed to see. The messages, the late-night calls, the pictures. Not just infidelity, conspiracy. He and his mistress laughing about me, about how I clung to his every word, about how useful my name and assets were. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply closed the phone, set it back where he left it, and smiled to myself in the dark. The game had changed. From that moment on, I played my role perfectly. I was the obedient wife, nodding, smiling, bending where he wanted me broken. He thought he was winning, but I was watching, listening, calculating. Behind closed doors, I built my walls. I hired lawyers quietly, shifted accounts, moved assets into trusts he couldn't touch. Every cruel lesson he dealt me, I answered with another quiet step toward his ruin. My bodyguard, the man he hated most, became my shadow, my ally, my silent proof that I wasn't alone anymore. And then came the night of the rain. The night he tried to leave me stranded like I was disposable. The night he drove off laughing, thinking he had broken me one final time. But it was the opposite. It was the moment I knew the end had arrived. I climbed into the black truck, warm leather against my soaked skin. My bodyguard handed me a towel, no questions asked. We drove in silence, headlights cutting through the storm. I watched the road ahead, calm, because tomorrow everything would unravel for him. By dawn, the locks on the house had changed. His accounts were frozen. The mistress he thought was loyal had been bought out by me weeks earlier, her silence secured, her betrayal exposed. Every message, every recording, every sordid plan, now in my possession. When he returned, furious and dripping with arrogance, he found his key useless. He pounded on the door. I let him in. His face shifted when he saw the files spread across the table. Bank transfers, photos, proof of affairs, proof of fraud. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't shed a tear. I simply said, "Your lessons are over. Mine begin now." The divorce was swift, public, devastating for him. His business partners cut ties, his reputation shredded, his mistress vanished like smoke. He tried to fight, but every lawyer in the city had already been briefed by mine. Every move he made, I had already blocked. I watched him sink, slowly, deliberately, step by step. And when the house was legally mine, when the papers were signed and sealed, I stood in the doorway he once slammed in my face and told him the truth. "You taught me lessons, but the only one that mattered was silence. Because silence is where revenge grows." Now I live in peace. No shouting, no lessons, just freedom, carved out of his cruelty. Sometimes, when the rain hits the windows, I remember that night. The road, the gravel, the way he left me to drown in humiliation. And I smile, because he thought abandoning me was power. But in reality, it was permission. Permission to end him without lifting my voice. His last mistake was thinking I was weak. And my greatest victory was proving I never was.